There's Mike, when McCarthy was here, he always talked about penalties as in, he was okay with some like the combative penalties he was kind of okay with. How about you with your group? Are you okay with some of them to some extent, or are they just all bad?
No, I think all penalties are bad. They put you back, right? You lose yardage. So, but they're different, and they're different circumstances when you get those penalties. But to have 10 penalties in the last 4 games right now, I think is a little uncharacteristic for us. I think some of them have been some frustration type penalties. Some have been some fundamental and technique type penalties, and we'll see what we can do going forward. But no penalties are good, right? You don't like to have any of them. So you just have to correct them and try to move forward.
Rich, being around both of them, how neat will it be to see Anders and Daniel?
Start over, please.
Being around both of them, how neat will it be for you to see Anders and Daniel go against each other on Monday?
Yeah, obviously they don't get to go head to head, face mask to face mask. But I'm sure for them, it'll be easy for their parents. They can be at one game and see them both play, and I think their brother's actually coming in from Sweden to have a chance to see those guys both play. So those are some of the unique things that can happen in the National Football League, and they're both really good players, and they're both playing well right now. So it should be great for their family. Hopefully it's better for us.
Rich, how are they similar or different, the two brothers, just personality-wise, how they approach things, their mentality?
Yeah, that's been interesting. Yeah, they're similar size-wise. That's the one thing. I think personality-wise, when Daniel first came to us, I think he'd kind of gone through the shock of getting cut and some of those things, and I think he had to refocus on his confidence, rebuild his confidence to the point of where he is now. I think Anders is, at this point, is a little stronger, 6 years in college at this point, and has more confidence, earlier, I guess, for comparing the two. But they're very similar, with the ability to have a big leg and a big kick, and I think confidence-wise, probably where Daniel is now and where Anders is, that might be the same. I think the thing that's been good for Anders is some of the difficulties that Daniel has had, Anders has had the opportunity to learn from. So I think that's the one thing probably that he's taken from his brother. But I still think the guiding force to those two is the dad. Dad's an ultra-competitive tennis guy, and I think he's really been a force for both of those guys.
Rich, what's it been like, though, just watching Daniel's progression to where he's gotten to, and obviously at this stage of his career now with the success that he's had?
What was the first part?
Just with Daniel, being able to watch him go from the guy that came in at 18 to, kind of the kicker that he's become now in the NFL.
Yeah, again, I think it's some intestinal fortitude, to the player and what he's done, and the tedious repetition of the simplest movements, I think is what really the whole battery is about. Him and AJ out there have been together a long time, and certainly that's something we're trying to build here now with the snap, the hold, and the kick. So I think the repetitions that they've had together, going through some adversity early in his career and being able to come back from that, mental toughness being your best regardless of circumstance. I think he's learned how to master that as well. So a lot of credit goes to him and his work ethic, and hopefully we can transfer that over to the group that we have here.
Rich, this is also kind of a homecoming in a way for Keyshawn. What was it when y'all were with the Raiders that made you say, like, when I go to Green Bay, he's coming with me?
Yeah, well, they cut him, so he was available, and he had been a good player for us. He led us in special teams tackles out there as a rookie, and we knew he had some return skills, but we had Dwayne Harris when he was there, and he played the off guy. So I just think we saw some legitimate defensive back skills that he had and the ability to make plays in special teams. So, again, he was available, and Brian did a good job of getting him.
He hasn't broken one yet, which is he?
He has, but we got a pretty good penalty on there. Yeah.
Or I guess the question is, as a unit, are you getting to where you want to get to?
Well, I'd like to think we're moving forward. The holding penalties have set us back a little bit, and some personnel issues have set us back a little bit. Guys having to play positions they hadn't played before and getting new guys on the unit. And I don't think we've played with the same punt team yet in 4 games. So we're still kind of figuring out who we are and what positions we need to put them at and how we can do a better job of not only preventing penalties, but coverage-wise as well. We've given up a touchdown in punt team. So I just think we're still a work in progress, and it's going to be like that throughout the entire year.
Kind of back to Anders, Rich, you know, he was talking about his tempo was a little off, going through some things in the preseason. How do you think he's just settled that down and gotten into a pretty good groove since the regular season started?
Yeah, again, I think he's performed well. You know, I think the battery's doing a good job. I mean, we have the big problem in Atlanta, you know, with the delay. And it was the first time we had a spot on the right middle, wasn't exactly on a hash or in the middle like a PAT. So hopefully we've gotten through that, gotten a little bit better with our sense of rhythm and timing with the full group. And, you know, I thought he played well last week. I thought he had 2 shots at it and did a good job for us, especially the big one at the end to go in like that and have a chance to hit it and do a good job. I'd like to see a little bit better chance at the onside kick, you know, something that we all working at.
Rich, what's the difference for a taller kicker like Anders versus another guy you might coach? I know he's talked a little bit about how it's a different style than some of the younger guys. I'm sorry, some of the shorter guys. What is the challenge for a guy who's taller like that?
Yeah, again, I've been part of both. I remember Martin Gramatica, you know, was a littler guy, and Dan Bailey and Matt Bryant, some of those guys. Those guys are built a little bit more on bat speed. You know, it's kind of like a batter that leads off, you know, and chokes up and kind of has tremendous bat speed from point A to point B. I think the bigger guys have a little bit more power to them, and they finish a little bit different, a little bit longer at the end than some of the smaller guys. But it's about the contact point, which they'll all talk about, you know, how they hit the ball and to be able to hit it at the right spot at the right time. And I think that's what he's done a good job of, you know, getting proficient at.